alive. For every tear your mama cried. Look alive. When the 5 arrive. Look alive. Everybody look alive. Look alive.
Yeah, Super Bowl Sunday 2017. I got a call from John Feldmann after the game, and he told me to come up to his house in Calabasas, and him and Travis were there when I arrived. And I remember discussing what we wanted to see in music and what we wanted to hear and what we wanted to see societally, and we discussed how to sort of catalyze that using our own efforts. You know, you can always like talk about what you want to see, but you kind of, well, you don't kind of, you actually do have to put into effect the things that you want to change within your own life or your own realm. So we were talking about that, and we were talking about, you know, how to do that and what that sounds like and what that looks like. And we had a lot of different ideas, and all of those ideas started to sort of coalesce and become one vision, and that vision finds itself now in Fever 333. So yeah, thankful for that conversation on Super Bowl Sunday a couple years ago.
I mean, I obviously grew up listening to both John and Travis's records, so the idea of working with them and Jason was exciting for me. I'd been working on stuff with Jason prior to that, and I don't know, it was one of those things where you hit me up, and I just remember it being really fast. Like, you were at my house writing the day before, just working on some stuff that he wanted to bring to them, and then he was like, hey, just come down. And I just remember the actual process was like literally so quick that it didn't hit me till later, because we went in the studio, and he was like, I just want you to meet them. So I came in, and then I remember the engineer told us, oh, John's not going to be here today. And I was like, okay. And Jason's like, well, why did they have Eric come? And then they were like, oh, we want him to record. And I was like, great. I have no prep. I have nothing on any of these songs. And then John popped in with a camera crew and was like, I forgot I'm shooting my documentary today. And he goes, are you ready to record? And I've never met these guys or anything. And I was like, yeah. I mean, that's why I showed up. And so then he goes, cool, go in there, adjust Travis's kit. We'll play you the song once. I'll tell you what I want. We'll film it and then send it to Travis and see what he thinks. And I'm like, all right. And I remember, like, honestly, if I wasn't writing with you and all that other stuff beforehand, that would have felt a lot weirder. But I don't know. It was one of those things where it was kind of just exciting that they gave a shit and wanted to see what was happening.
Jason and I had talked about doing music at some point for a while. So when he called me, you know, I knew I wanted to be a part of it, like, from the first call. So I think I came out there like a week later after you called me to initially be a part of it. I was already excited because like I said, we've been talking for years about doing something. Like Eric said, it all happened so quickly. Like, everything moved so fast, which is good. You know, I think, you know, we're not new to this music thing, you know, since we all come from different things. We're new to the pace, but we got used to how fast everything was moving pretty quickly, just because we're used to kind of doing this. So it's been cool
working with John compared to now. It's the same. He's always been this like firecracker and this man who can get something out of you that you didn't even know really existed. He kind of he makes you believe in yourself in order to accomplish the goal that you're all trying to achieve, but he allows you to be the catalyst for it, if that makes sense. So back then, when we recorded a legendary Let Live song that no one will ever hear, that's kind of when we established our relationship and our respect for each other's artistry and what we wanted to accomplish as artists. So, you know, he had his ideas and I had mine, and we were sharing them, and some of them didn't, you know, mesh, and then some of them did. And then what we came, because of that, because neither one of us were really just being yes men, and because we were telling each other how we felt about suggestions and approaches for the song and the project, I think that we quickly realized that we had a very large sense of respect for each other, and we appreciated the way that we approach art, even in its disparity, like even in the moments of difference. So that because of that to now, I mean, and the guys can attest to it. Like I'll be in the booth and he'll just hit me with something, and I love it. I love just trying every single thing you can think of. And then what he is so good at is making sure that he gets the best out of you of every one of them, and then picking the best of the best, which to me is just it is such a supreme talent that he possesses, and he's had it ever, since the first, the moment I met him and the first time I worked with him. So from then to now, working with John Feldmann, it's all pretty similar. I just feel like we've both just gotten better. So we find ourselves in a much more even efficient place than we were before.
No, we don't have a friendly competition of who's going to do the craziest shit on stage. I think that's kind of one of the unique things about this band is individually it's kind of just like the natural outpour, and we all sort of did that in our old bands. We just sort of we're fans of music. We're fans of exciting live shows individually, and whether we're at a show, I like to get involved. I go to shows at home and I still mosh. I still when it's playing a show, that's the most fun I could have. Period. So I'm just having fun, and it's not, and to be on stage with these guys, to look over and see them doing the same thing. They feel the exact same way I do. So looking over and seeing them like just doing their thing naturally, I get amped for sure watching them. But yeah, as far as like a competition, there's none of that really.
Becoming a father has changed the way I look at art and my career in ways that I could never even fathom. I think that my reason for everything and understanding the effects of what I do and how I do them are so much clearer now, because every day that I see my son, I get a glimpse of the future. I get to see what potential we hold as humans. I see how every move I make, he kind of watches, and he's affected by whether he wants to be or not. And because of that, I see my art and this career in art differently, and it's a much more palpable sense of responsibility. And not that I feel like I'm obligated to be someone other than who I am, but paying attention to who I'm trying to be and who I believe myself to be is so much clearer now, and is so much more succinct. And also it makes a lot of my decisions a lot easier. If it doesn't benefit my son or my wife or others, I just don't do it. Yeah, writing Inglewood on the new album Strength in Numbers. Yeah, I guess it was really emotional. I remember sitting in that room and just talking about how I was trying to write this roadmap. I remember John, if I may, I don't know if he even wants me to say this, but he was like tearing up as we were talking about these things, and we were writing this. I remember writing the chorus, and he had a relationship with Baldwin Hills, which is right out, I'm saying Baldwin Hills, Ladera Heights, Inglewood, off of Slauson. Like, that's where I'm from. So I talk about this roadmap, everything from where I was born, which is Sentinella Hospital, to the alleyway where my mother was shot at, and where my homeboy died in front of that very house. Like, talking about these things and trying to get people to understand why I say what I do, and the experiences that have brought me to believe the things that I do now, and also the big T truths that I have observed and the facts. I'm not here to really spread conjecture or biases. I'm here to talk about the facts, and the best way to talk about the truth is talk about your own truth. And that's kind of what I'm trying to do with this song, Inglewood, particularly, hoping that people can feel that emotion that we mentioned earlier, and find their own place within my story. I hope that there's a place for them to exist too, and for them to understand that we all have a story, and we should not be ashamed to talk about that story. We shouldn't be ashamed to talk about who we are and why we are. And if we want to improve things, well, first things first, you have to remember who you are. You have to remember where you come from. And so that song in particular, although it may be somewhat specific to where I'm from, it's an offering to everybody to take this journey but also find their own strength in where they are from and who they are and who they want to be, and know that there should be no shame. There should be no shame in your experiences. They should only learn from them, and that's what Inglewood is about, which is probably why it gets so emotional at times.
Give me one reason to stay, and I will, yes, I will.